Hi and welcome to the Fox's Tales. Just quickly, I've decided to do a little bit my own content. My boy also wants to do a bit of content with me, so this is me doing a bit of my own channel for the time being as well. I'll still be on Leicester Fan TV and I'll still be doing stuff with the boys on there. And as I always do, I love that channel. But I want to do some of my own content, and my boy also wants to come on and do bits with me from time to time. This show is obviously a preview show for Crystal Palace. It's my thoughts on the game. I also have Dee's opinion from Back of the Nest from Crystal Palace. And yeah, it's just a little preview show. Obviously, massive game now. You know, Leicester have obviously played three, haven't won one, and only got 1 point on the board, and that was a draw against Tottenham on game day one. Since then, they've obviously defeats 2-1 defeat to Fulham, also a 2-1 defeat to Aston Villa, where a lot of fans would say there was negativity around the team selections. Obviously, picking three defensive midfield in Skip, Winks, and Diddy, and leaving out attacking players, you know, cost us again. I very much sit on the fence with that opinion. I can see what Cooper's doing. He's trying to make sure we're tight at the back and we're not going to see goals. But I also do feel we've got to start attacking games quicker. And I think if you play Oliver Skip and Harry Winks, you've got that foundation to have more attacking players on the pitch. My opinion going to the game of Palace, you know, obviously I feel that the back line against Aston Villa didn't play too bad at all. I think the goals we conceded were team goals, what we can do better at more than individuals. Obviously, the free kick is well worked by Villa, but on my point of view, I think we have to defend that better. You have to make sure that when that ball goes into Ramsey's feet, there's someone on Ramsey, and he hasn't got time to run into the box and push it across the goal. The first, obviously, to stop Ramsey. The second one is we had 5 bodies in that penalty area, and you have to defend better than that, than leave the biggest central midfielder they had on the park standing there ready to tap the ball home. The second goal, again, a ball whipped to the far post, then comes wide again, a little overlap and chipped in, and again, and Ockley nudges his man in the back, but you've got to do more. You've got to challenge with your man there, and you've got to go and push him. You've got to put pressure on him. It's a good header. And, you know, Duran puts it in the only place he can put it where Mads ain't going to save him. That's a loops over him into the far corner. But there was no challenge on the man. What do I want to see going into the Crystal Palace game tomorrow? I want to see a team that's obviously playing with the hunger, determination, spirit that we've seen in most of these first 3 games. But I want some more quality. It's all right getting the ball and using it in the last 20 minutes to try and push teams, but we've got to do that from the start. We've also got to stop giving teams 45 minutes of us playing badly. You know, Tottenham at home, we were lucky not to be 3 or 4-0 down. Fulham away, we were lucky again to go in at half-time 1-1. And Villa, you know, obviously, again, we're going in behind. All these time, we're going in behind because we've started as a team slow, poor passing, poor with possession. I thought Villa, we were better the first 20 minutes until the goal went in. And then obviously Villa started turning the screw on us. But we still got to start better. And if we start like we're against Villa, you've got to keep it up. You've got to get that early goal and get in the league. We've got to try and take a lead. We've got to stop clawing back leads because that will cost us too many time this season if we're having to fight back in games. Obviously, for me, team selection-wise, I think the team picks itself in some ways. What I think Cooper will go with tomorrow. A team I'd like to see him go with tomorrow would be probably Ricardo as right back. I'd like to see Faz and Ockley keep that centre partnership. I think they did well enough. I'd like to see Cody in there, but I don't think that would happen. I think Christian obviously keeps his left back role because we haven't got that many options there, and that's JJ plays on the left-hand side. Midfield for me, Winks and Skip as your solid foundation. Belanotti as your cam. Right wing, Fatui, left wing Mavididi, and striker Vardy. That's how I'd like to go in it. Mavididi did so much against Villa when he came on. He caused him so many problems. And I know people say, yeah, he came on against a right back who was tiring and he's not a traditional right back. But, you know, for me, he did so much more. And you could see Villa was scared when he came on. The trickery, the step overs, you know, the lollipops, they didn't know where to go. And the goal comes from Mavididi charging at his man and, you know, putting one up towards the back post. Belanotti obviously being in and around that penalty area, gets the volley and scores, and we're back in the game. I'd like to see obviously them creative plays on the pitch, and I think that's what we've got to see now. We've got to be a bit more creative. You can't go into every game trying to defend from the start. I understand what Cooper's tried to do. He's not had all the players he wants at his disposal. Some have come in late in the transfer window, but he's had 2 weeks now to work with the players he's got. Some of them have been on international duty, but there's still plenty of time to work with the players he had on that to try and get something more creative going forward. Like I say, we saw against Tottenham when we started to play well, we caused some problems. We saw against not so much Fulham because I didn't think we played well at all in that game. But the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes against Villa, we were putting them under pressure. Yes, we conceded a goal and then we had to find 2 goals, but we still were creating half chances in around the penalty area. And again, if the game had gone a little bit longer, you might have found the equaliser. I think Cooper, for me, is like I say, he's got to go more attacking now. You've got a solid foundation with a 4 and a 2. Let the other players go and attack. Now, here's D from Back of the Nest with his preview of what he thinks Palace will come and do and his prediction for the game tomorrow.
What's going on, people? It is D here from Back of the Nest with a quick preview. Thank you for having me on the channel. International break is over. Palace are back. And of course, we will be facing your side, Leicester, on the weekend. And I'll just be giving my quick thoughts. So my general feeling towards the game is that as a Palace fan, I am excited. I think a lot of Palace fans are as well. I think we've started the season a bit rocky, but for the reasons that we've known about even before the season kicked off, and that was due to major competitions and some of our players featuring in them. I mean, for England, we had 4 players. We had a few players out for Copa America, Mateta for the Olympics, and some of these players joined the side a week before the season started, and we've seen it. I mean, we haven't had a proper pre-season together, and we've seen the performances or the fitness levels not being quite 100%. In the first game of the season against Brentford, even though we were hard done by the referee by a crazy decision to disallow Eze's free kick, we went into the next game. We lost. I mean, we lost that game, and then we went into the next game against West Ham. It was another defeat, and we finally got our first point away from home at Stamford Bridge. And in that game, despite having around 14 first-team players available due to some players leaving, such as Joachim Madison and Jordan Ayew, and we haven't really, well, we have replaced them, but we didn't replace them in time for the game on the right before the international break. So it's been a frustrating start. On top of that, we've had fitness issues. For example, Adam Walton hasn't been at 100%, and that's been a problem. But we are here. We are here. This international break was needed, and from a Palace perspective, our season starts right now with the Leicester game, and we are super excited. Walton's had that rest. Mateta's had that rest. We've also had new players such as Nketiah, Lacroix, Trevor Chalobah, who and Turner as well, who will be second choice goalie, who could feature in this game. So we are going into this game with a lot of Palace fans agreeing with me with this, with our strongest squad in the last 11 years. We lost Elise, which of course is a blow. You can't replace Elise. He's that good of a player. So as soon as we lost him, we were never going to have a starting 11 as strong as we had last season. But what we've done is improve the squad, and the squad is in a much better shape. We'll see what happens with a few players such as France, etc. We don't know if he's fit yet, but we're excited. I mean, I've watched a few games of Leicester this season, and I don't think you played particularly bad in any of those games. I've watched the first game against Tottenham. I watched the Villa game as well. I think you had moments in the Villa game at home in the second half when you did try, and I do know that a lot of Leicester fans have been complaining about Steve Cooper and his approach. Which I think is going to suit us in this game as well. It's very hard to predict the starting 11 from a Palace perspective because of the new players. We don't know which new players could be starting under Glasner in this game. Of course, with the international break as well, and some players going, we don't know if those players may have a bit of fatigue, especially the ones that have travelled over to America and Colombia to represent the country. So we'll see with those. But the England lot, Gahey, Eze, Henderson, they'll be fine. So yeah, it's hard to predict the starting 11. But despite that, we're in a good shape. We're in a good shape. We've saw the glimpses of old Palace against Chelsea, and I think, as I mentioned about Steve Cooper, I think the way that Steve Cooper does actually play, which we've seen with Forest, will favour Palace in this game. I think we'll keep the possession, which we don't like to keep for possession's sake. I mean, we're happy with teams attacking us and hitting teams on the counter attack, but I think Steve Cooper will try to maybe play for a point. I'm not too sure. I think there's an opportunity there. If I was a Leicester fan looking at this game, saying, it's Palace, we should be trying, but I don't know if he will. But yeah, in terms of my score predictions, I'll end it with that. I'm going to go for 2-0 Palace. I have been confident about this game for the reasons I've listed. The players have had their rest, even the players that were starting and not 100% fit. Some of the players have improved their fitness by even going to the national side, such as Gueye and Eze, after the Euros ended. And the new players are here. Nketiah, Chalobah, as well as Lacroix. So we've got a stronger squad than the last game, with much more rested squad as well. And we're looking forward to the game. But look, thank you for having me on the channel, and all the best for the remainder of the season, apart from this game, of course.
Thank you, D, for your input into Palace. Obviously, we all know Crystal Palace got some quality young talent there. Like you say, you mentioned Gueye, Mitchell at the back as well. As Leicester have got to be on their guard going into this game, because we all know that Palace can hurt you. We've seen that over the years. Obviously, some of their players are now gone, but they've still got some quality in their ranks. I'll finish up on my prediction. Now, he's already done his prediction. My prediction was 2-0 to Leicester, actually. I generally believe we actually can go to the Palace and get a result tomorrow. I do believe. I think Cooper will have the boys fired up for this one. I think the boys want to bounce back after a couple of poor results for us. I know we're only 3 games into the season, but you've got to try and get that first win on the board. And, these next 2 games against Crystal Palace and Everton, one of them has to be a win for me. Otherwise, the pressure is going to start turning on Cooper very quickly. From a section of the fans will start to be on his case. So once again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining the new channel, The Fox's Tales. Have a great evening, and look forward to my post-match review of the game. Let's hope for a Leicester City win. Cheers.